They say you won't feel it at first. The shift, the moment where humanity quietly fractures into two distinct paths. But look closer. Something is already happening. The dreams are changing. The air feels heavier. Whispers drift through our collective consciousness like echoes from a prophecy half remembered. Nostradamus once wrote of a division so profound that mankind itself would no longer recognize its reflection. Not in the mirror, not in each other. This isn't a story of nations or ideologies. It's a story of souls, of those who awaken and those who never will. Before you're completely pulled into the shadows of this unfolding revelation, like, share, and subscribe to future echoes, because what you're about to hear may not reach you again in this form. And if you feel the urge, consider becoming a member to help us decode even deeper layers of the truth. We are about to peel back time, uncover warnings hidden for centuries, and confront the unrelenting question: which side are you really on? The awakened or the lost? Buried in the faded ink of Nostradamus's Les Prophéties is a quatrain often overlooked, dismissed as poetic rambling, or worse, misinterpreted by those unready to accept its weight. Yet in the 41st quatrain of Century 6, there lies a cryptic stanza. The great multitude will awaken, one part driven to light, one to blackened waters. Not all who see will see, and not all who sleep will stay asleep. While scholars argue its meaning, mystics have long whispered the truth. This was never about a physical war, but a metaphysical schism, a fracture in the spiritual timeline of humanity. A moment when reality would become multi-layered, where people would occupy the same space but live in diverging frequencies. Some would rise above the veil, shedding illusions and stepping into clarity. Others would drown in distraction, led astray by voices that mimic truth but speak only control. This is the moment Nostradamus foresaw, not just the future, but the divergence of perception itself. Many believe the split Nostradamus predicted begins in a flash, an event, a disaster, a war. But no, it starts silently. 1,000 small cuts across the skin of civilization. Subtle changes in behavior, shifts in attention, and increasing dissonance between those who feel the world pressing in on their spirit and those who drown it out with noise. The awakened speak of synchronicities, dreams that bleed into daylight, and moments where time seems to loop or shatter. They report sudden insights, urges to break away from systems that once defined their lives, and a rising inner pressure, as if their very soul is being called to another frequency. Meanwhile, the lost double down on the external. More news, more drama, more consumption. The illusion of safety wrapped in endless motion. Nostradamus didn't describe the split as violent, but as irreversible, like two trains silently veering onto separate tracks, still in sight of each other, but never again meeting. And by the time most realize which train they're on, the others have already disappeared into another world. Who are the lost? It's easy to point to those who refuse to see, who mock the signs, who clutch tightly to the systems that bind them. But it's deeper than that. The lost are not evil, but hypnotized. Sleepwalkers in a dream that was not theirs to begin with. They are victims of a spell cast over centuries, woven through education, entertainment, technology, and the clever engineering of desire. They believe in progress without direction, freedom without awareness, and information without wisdom. Nostradamus described them symbolically. Figures with eyes wide open, but pupils clouded like smoked glass, unable to discern truth from imitation. In contrast, the awakened, the sentinels, experience the world differently. They feel when something is off, even when they can't explain it. They sense connections others miss. They are haunted not by fear, but by the weight of knowing too much. they carry ancient instincts and futuristic visions in the same breath. And in this age, they are being activated, often against their will. A force is calling them out of slumber. But the path is not easy. It is lonely, painful, and filled with illusions designed to drag them back. If you felt this calling, share your story in the comments. We are not meant to awaken alone. The modern world talks about information overload, digital distraction, mental health crisis, but few connect the dots to something much older and deeper. What if these are symptoms of a greater spiritual sickness, a frequency war, as some call it? Nostradamus hinted at this through his references to metal tongues and spheres that sing across the void, a possible nod to the rise of electromagnetic influence over human consciousness. The split in humanity may not just be ideological, it may be vibrational. The awakened begin to tune into different frequencies. Silence becomes sacred, intuition becomes compass, and truth vibrates at a resonance that cannot be faked. But for the lost, the frequency lowers, drenched in fear, scarcity, and emotional manipulation. They are kept asleep, not just by lies, but by the constant noise that drowns out the signal of their own soul. And somewhere in the static, Nostradamus's voice continues to whisper, "When the music of the sky turns sour, beware the binding of the spirit." One of the most chilling ideas hidden within Nostradamus's quatrains is the notion of inversion, the deliberate flipping of good and evil, truth and lie, light and darkness. He wrote of a time when the beast shall wear robes of virtue, and the wise shall be dressed as fools. Look around. What do we celebrate? Who do we elevate? The inversion is complete when society punishes truth-tellers and rewards deceivers. It is not merely corruption. It is a metaphysical spell, a collective ritual, where humanity participates in its own disorientation. The awakened feel this inversion viscerally, like walking through a dream where nothing is quite right, but the lost accept it as normal. They drink from poisoned wells and praise the taste. Nostradamus warned that only those who have pierced the mirror with fire will see clearly in the time of inversion. Fire, in alchemical terms, is the symbol of purification. The awakened are being burned, not destroyed, but remade. And through this painful process, they are preparing to enter a reality that the lost will never see. In one of his more obscure verses, Nostradamus spoke of a false dawn that warms no one, a light that promises awakening but blinds those who follow it. Today we see this prophecy playing out in the form of movements, trends, and spiritual facades that claim enlightenment yet lead only to confusion. These are the mimicries of awakening, systems designed to hijack the longing of the soul and channel it into safe, contained expressions that never challenge the true structures of control. The awakened must be cautious, for the false dawn is seductive. It offers comfort instead of truth, distraction instead of transformation. But the real path is often solitary, filled with doubt, shadow, and silence. Nostradamus knew this, that those truly awakening would be tempted to turn back by illusions crafted in light. He warned that unity without fire shall divide the earth. Unity in this context is not harmony, but uniformity, a flattening of spirit that disguises itself as peace. Share in the comments. Have you seen these false dawns? If you watch closely, you'll see them. The children who are not like the others, those born with knowing eyes, with sensitivities that defy explanation, with memories that don't belong to this life. Nostradamus called them the seeds of the second dawn. He predicted that after the first great confusion, a generation would emerge that could see both worlds, the broken one they were born into and the hidden one they are meant to restore. These children often suffer deeply, misdiagnosed, misunderstood, labeled as anomalies by systems that fear what they do not understand. But the awakened know better. They recognize the signs. These children are not here to fit in. They are here to usher in the shift. And many of them are already awakening faster than those who came before. It is our task to protect them, guide them, and if you are one of them, claim the power you were born with. Humanity is splitting, and these children are the bridge between what was and what must be. All great shifts come with a shedding. Nostradamus described it as the breaking of the outer crust of illusion. He saw cities trembling, systems buckling, institutions dissolving like sandcastles under a black tide. But he did not frame it as apocalypse, only revelation. The collapse is necessary, for the old world cannot sustain the frequency of the new. As the split intensifies, many will panic, clinging to the familiar even as it crumbles. But the awakened understand the collapse is not the end, but the clearing of a path. It is a trial by chaos, a dismantling of the false so the true can emerge. Economies may fall, power structures may invert, truths long hidden will erupt into daylight, and for those aligned with illusion, this will feel like destruction. But for the awakened, it will feel like finally breathing clean air. Remember, Nostradamus said the eagle will shed its feathers, and in nakedness shall fly higher than before. That eagle may be us. Have you noticed the split in perception? Two people watch the same event yet interpret it as opposites. One sees manipulation, the other sees salvation. This is not coincidence. It is the manifestation of fractured realities. As the vibration of Earth rises, so too does the divergence of timelines. The awakened begin to see reality as layered, mutable, interactive. They experience time differently. They feel memories from futures that haven't happened yet. Nostradamus wrote, "The world shall be one, yet seen as two. One through shadow, one through flame." We are entering an age where reality itself is no longer singular. What is true for one may be illusion for another. The lost continue walking in a world shaped by external authority, while the awakened co-create a parallel stream, quietly, invisibly, until the veil can no longer hold. Have you experienced moments where you felt like you were living in a different world from those around you? Share your story. These fractures are not errors. They are signposts. Across the centuries, Nostradamus hinted at hidden protectors, figures who would rise not to rule, but to guard. He called them those of the third eye, dressed in humility, bearing no crown, but marked by light. These guardians are not celebrities or politicians. They work in silence. They may be healers, artists, hackers, wanderers, or even strangers you meet for only a moment, but never forget. Their mission is to keep the gateways open, for awakening is not guaranteed. The lost may still cross over, but only if the path remains visible. The awakened are not just called to escape. They are called to become beacons. This is the hardest part of the journey. You do not ascend alone. You become the hand that reaches back. Nostradamus urged, "The sun shall rise through the eyes of the few, and through them warm the eyes of the many." If you feel this call to be a guardian, to be a voice in the noise, then speak. Let your fire be seen and comment below. How have you held the door open for others? There is one illusion more powerful than all others, the illusion of separation itself. Nostradamus warned that in the end days, the cleverest lie will be that the soul is alone. The final trap is not technological control, not surveillance, not even war. It is isolation. To believe you are awakening alone, to feel abandoned in a world that no longer recognizes you, is the greatest trick of all, but it is false. The awakened are scattered, yes, but they are connected through a higher field, a network of thought, heart, and intention. And now more than ever, we must remember this. Reach out, speak truth, share this message with those who feel lost in the noise. This channel, Future Echoes, exists because you are not alone. Like, share, and subscribe now before the illusion pulls you back under. And consider becoming a member to join us in building the next level of this unfolding mystery. The split is here, but so is the path through it. And now, we come to the prophecy's climax. Nostradamus described it in veiled terms, but the meaning is clear to those who know how to read the symbols. Two Earths, one that spirals into deeper control, fear, and synthetic living, another that blooms with light, resonance, and remembrance. The split is not physical, but experiential. Each soul must choose, not with a vote, not with a ritual, but with their vibration, their intention, their daily alignment. Do you move toward truth, toward healing, toward sovereignty? Or do you surrender to the false gods of comfort, noise, and validation? The awakened will step into the earth that mirrors their clarity. The lost will remain in the earth that feeds their confusion. This is the crossroads Nostradamus saw. Not an ending, but a divergence. And you, dear viewer, are standing at the very edge of it. Before this veil drops again, let's take a breath together. You found this video not by accident, but by design. There are truths here your soul has been waiting to hear, and now it's your move. Like, share, and subscribe to Future Echoes. If this message resonates, drop a comment below and let us know where do you stand. Have you awakened, or are you just beginning to remember? Consider joining as a member to support our mission in bringing these ancient truths to light. And if you feel this was worth it, a super thanks goes a long way in helping us keep this journey alive. The split is real, the shift is here, and the time is